be on drugs. They don't need to be alcoholic drunks. That's what my son is saved from. I've been fortunate that my son is in this truth and that I don't worry about if he's going to come home tonight or not. If he's going to join a gang or not. If he's going to get beat or shot, I don't worry about that. My brother's in the truth. I don't worry about whether my brothers are going to come back tomorrow or not. I know my brother Ashawar is going to be in class on Saturday, teaching the Sabbath class, teaching people the Hebrew. I know my brother's going to be like that. I know my brothers that are in the truth are going to go to New York and they're going to come back safely. Why? Because the Lord has saved them from certain death that's going to happen. Why? Because we trust in the Lord. That is what salvation is. Continue reading that salvation.
Whether material or spiritual.
Salvation is whether material or spiritual. No matter what, you're going to find a way to work. No matter what, you're going to find a way to pay your rent. No matter what, the Lord's going to be with you. My school's going to be with you. My brothers are going to be with me. Continue reading.
Theologically, however, it denotes the whole process by which man is delivered from all that interferes with the enjoyment of God's highest blessings.
So we're going to be saved from all that nonsense. And the Lord is going to give us his highest blessing. That's what salvation is. I'm good with that. That's what salvation is. Salvation, the definition of salvation out of that book is like this. Preservation. You know what you're going to be preserved from? I'll tell you what you're going to be preserved from. Venezuela is at war today. Venezuela is brewing up an international conflict that's going to bring America, Russia, China, and other countries into sure, certain war. There ain't no other way out of it. They're preparing for a war that's going to be brought up into America. And you know what the Lord is saying? He's saying salvation. They're saying, you know, when you see that sign, Jesus saves. Well, guess what? Jesus saves, but not everybody. He didn't come to save everybody. He came to save his people from certain death. You know what else salvation means? Deliverance.
Right.
Deliverance from harm, from ruin or loss. That's a definition for deliverance. You know what loss? The loss of your life. The salvation, deliverance from harm. You're not going to get killed, man. You're not going to get killed on the streets anymore. You're not going to worry about going into a certain area where before you couldn't even walk in there because you thought for sure, man, I'm going to get jumped right here. Right. For sure, I'm going to walk into this area and they're going to jump me. You know what, Mexicans? I'm going to tell you, Mexicans, man, for sure you thought I'm going to walk that neighborhood and the negros are going to jump me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's what Mexicans were fearing. Blacks were feeling, all them essays are right there. For sure they're going to jump me right there. You had something?
I had a precept for nations rising against nations.
Oh, go ahead.
This is Matthew 24, verse 7. For nations shall rise against nation.
And today, that salvation they're talking about is because that precept that the brother's reading, nation will rise against nation, that's what's happening to us today. We're seeing a nation rise up against Israel. They're killing and murdering blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians every day. Whether you watch this show or not does not change the fact that another black brother is going to get shot in the street. Whether you watch this or not doesn't change the fact that more of my Hispanic brothers and sisters are going to be put into the detention centers. And they're going to be raped there because almost 2,000 children were raped inside the detention centers. And nobody gave a damn that this is happening. My brothers and sisters are being raped from the age of 13. They're being raped in those detention centers. And America doesn't give a damn about my people. Continue reading.
And kingdom against kingdom.
And kingdom against kingdom. America is a kingdom. Russia is a kingdom. China is a kingdom. And let me tell you, Latin America is a kingdom too. And you know what? America is rising up against these kingdoms in Latin America. And we're neighbors. So let me tell you something. When America goes to war with Venezuela, Latin America is going to go to war with America. That's what's going to happen. You got any more?
And there shall be famines and pestilence.
Let me tell you something. There's already famine. There's already pestilence. And it's happening to our people. My people are famished in the streets. My people are filled with those pestilence in the streets. We're living in those tents. We're living under those bridges. We're living inside of those motor homes all across America, wondering where we're going to sleep next. Continue reading.
And earthquakes in diverse places.
And let me tell you something. We've been watching the destruction of the world through the earthquakes in all across China, right? In Japan, in China, in Thailand. These earthquakes that, man, let me tell you something. If you didn't grow up in the 80s, you have no understanding. In the 80s, we were afraid of a 9.5 earthquake. We were always like, oh man, there's going to be an earthquake. When I seen that earthquake in, what was that? No understanding. China, in the 80s, we were afraid of Thailand, where the water came out. We were always like, oh man, there's going to be an earthquake. I had never seen that. I seen that in movies. What was that? We used to watch that. Only in movies would you see earthquakes that then a tsunami would come and wash up a complete city. But then when I seen that happen in Japan, in movies, man, to us growing up in the 80s, man, that was like watching a movie. For people it grew up later than that, you don't understand that. But to us, that was like watching a movie. That was predicted. If you watched any other movies, that was only predicted in movies. For people it grew up later than that, you don't for real. Like California's gonna get hit by an earthquake. We should be worried because now earthquakes come, not only an earthquake, but a tsunami right behind it. And we're living right on that borderline. For real. Like California's gonna get hit by an earthquake. We should be worried because now earthquakes come, not only an earthquake, but a tsunami right behind it. Go ahead. And we're living right on that borderline.
Luke chapter 15 and 10 is about the salvation.
Oh, so let me go back into that. So what is the Lord promising in salvation? This is what he promises, that when these earthquakes, when these tsunamis, when these wars, when all this comes to flourish, the Lord is going to have salvation for his people. Man, he did it for us in Egypt. He saved Israel from everything Egypt went through. I have faith that the Lord is going to save us from all this that America is about to hit. Go ahead.
Luke 15 and 10. Likewise, I say unto you. Likewise, I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repents.
See, all the angels, they joyfully rejoice, man. They have joy in their hearts when only one of us leaves our old life and comes into this new life.
Right.
When we decide to follow the Lord, man, there is festivities in heaven because one of us has decided to change our ways. You know what? The Lord doesn't take us for granted. The Lord sees one of us change, and to Him it's like that's another soldier being born right there. That's another one of my people that's waking up to this truth. You know what? None of us come into this truth in vain. Out here we may not notice it, but in heaven the Lord notices everything. We should never think that it goes unnoticed. The Lord knows everything about us and everything that we do. And He rejoices when we come into this kingdom. Out here, we may not notice it, but in heaven,
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
So see, the Lord only knows Israel. He's only waiting for us to come back. He's only waiting for Israel to wake up. Because it says, man, that when Israel wakes up, the Lord will hear us and He'll come back and take us from this slavery that we're in. Continue to come back. He's only waiting for Israel to wake up because it says,
verse 3, can two walk together except they be agreed? Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth together where no gin is for him? Will a lion take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Will a young lion cry out of a trumpet be blown in the city and the people be not afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord hath not done it? Surely the Lord God will do nothing that He may deliver from the earth unto His servants the prophets.
So we're those prophets, and the Lord is going to reveal those secrets to us, and we're the ones who are going to come out and bring Israel out of this captivity, because that's what we're at here. We're in captivity in America. We've been in captivity for over 500 years. We've been in the captive service of the Edomites. And they're the ones who are holding our people here. Today they're holding them in these detention centers. Today they're holding them in these snares and these holes in these prisons. That's where we're finding our people today. And you know what? It's nothing new to us. We should know that the Lord has always known that we'd be in this situation. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to find ourselves here in this truth. We got to once again find ourselves out of the harm's way. And how is that? Salvation. And what is salvation? Salvation that the Lord is going to give us. And once again, what does salvation mean? It means freedom from harm. That's what it really means. It means that we're not going to be harmed. You know, even though we're in captivity. And how is that? In the Mayan, in the salvation that the Lord is going to give us. And once again, what does salvation mean? In God means captivity. That's the way you say captivity. We're not going to be harmed. Even though we're in captivity. So in our Chaazaq, you know, the Lord has salvation for us. Even in this captivity, He has salvation. And salvation is very simple. It just means deliverance from harm, deliverance from ruin, deliverance from loss. And we have to understand that if we want that salvation, we have to begin to associate ourselves with the Lord. We have to begin to give service, deliverance from harm. Man, we all strong people. We all hard. We all those people that, man, we all get from the streets. I don't think any of us in this truth, man, I'm long to see a brother who came out of like a college or something. Most of these brothers, even if they went to college, man, they were all street brothers. Everybody in this truth that I know is all street brothers, man. Brothers who dropped out, brothers who decided, man, we just, you know, I just don't need that college. You know, I'm just gonna work, you know, out of gangs, out of cliques, out of little that I know, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Brothers all came from that place. Brothers who decided, and you know why? Because we just don't need that college. We all like that. We've always been like, you know, gangs. But even though we all like that, we have to understand that it's time that we didn't want to leave that lifestyle behind. You gotta humble yourself. You know what I mean? You got something on humbling yourself? Give me that precept. You gotta humble yourself. You know why you gotta humble yourself? Because you gotta leave behind the person that you used to be and become a new person for the Lord. You ain't gonna be acting like that in front of the Lord, in front of any of His people, in front of any of the people that the Lord appoints to be leaders in this nation. You cannot have that stance. You know what I'm saying? You cannot still be that person. You have to be a changed person. You have to leave behind that to be leaders in this nation. That hardness, that street, that whole you that you used to be, and come into what I'm saying. You cannot humble yourself and be a new person. The Lord's waiting on us, man. He's got salvation for us. You ain't gonna go out there and be in harm's way anymore. You ain't gonna be out there and be in ruin or in loss. You're gonna be a new person because the Lord's gonna look after you. Man, come on. The Lord looks after you. Not you that died. He's got salvation. You know what I'm saying? You already had it. That disease, whatever disease you may have in your body, it would have already flourished. It would have finished you. You know what I'm saying? But you let me tell you something, man. Come on. The Lord sees you and He knows He needs you. He needs strong warriors. Because you know what? It's 144,000 that got to move up. You got to get ready to do this real fight. You know what I'm saying?
Man, if you can't fight yourself, how are you going to fight the enemy? If you can't fight the inner you, that old person, that gangster, that hard person that you used to be, then how are you going to be able to overcome? If you can't fight yourself, because if you can't get rid of you, then you definitely can't get rid of them. Because you know what? It takes a group, it takes 144 together who think, act, breathe, and move together to be able to overcome what's coming. You yourself, no matter how strong you think you may be, whether it be physically, mentally, you know, whatever it may be, you will never be strong enough by yourself. You have to understand that it becomes part of the puzzle. It becomes part of the body, right? The body of Christ, the arms, the legs, the ears, the mouth, everything. We're a body, man. We're the body in Christ. We need everybody to be the same. We need to move as an organized group. We cannot move as individuals. You got that precept? Read it.
Matthew 18:1. At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
So even the disciples were like, between themselves, man, who's the greatest? Man, is Isupk the greatest? Or is Allah the greatest? Or how about Chaazaq Yad? Is he the greatest? Somebody's got to be the greatest. Who's the greatest? Kind of like telling him, you choose. Who's the greatest? Man, who's the greatest? Man,
and Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children.
Unless you be converted and become like little children, let me tell you something. I don't know anybody in the truth that was stronger than, I don't know who, Paul, stronger than, I don't know who, Matthew, stronger than, I don't know who, Luke or Mark, who was stronger than these people that walked with Christ. They all wanted to be the top soldier. They were all warriors. Who was that soldier that sliced the ear off of the Romans? Or Peter? Was anybody stronger than Peter? But you know what? The Lord said what?
Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children.
Unless ye be converted and become like little children. My son Easy is a little kid. He's playful. Every time I get mad at him, Easy will get mad at him, and then 2 minutes later, it'll be like I didn't say what children. It'll be like right past him. He'll be like normal, Easy all over again. And then he'll do something, I'll get mad at him, and before you know it, he's back to square one. He does not take anything serious. He takes anything I say to him lightly. And yeah, I gotta get mad at him again, but that's what kids are like. Kids are like a learning experience. Every day learning something new, something new, something new. And you know what? They don't look at me as an enemy. They don't take that forever and just hold that with them. Oh, he said that to me. And we have to understand that we gotta be the same. No matter what a brother or a sister may say to you, you know what? You have to take it lightly and be like, well, you know what? They don't take that. Get consoles and continue forward. Bring this truth together.
And become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So you want what?
You shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So let me tell you something. You won't enter into the kingdom of heaven. You think that being hard is more important than following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, then you can say goodbye to the kingdom of heaven. If you think that leaving your brothers and your sisters and going back into the world is more important than doing the service of the Lord, then I'm sorry, man. The kingdom of heaven is statutes and commandments. If you think that's more important for you to be that rough-necked, then the kingdom is not for you. It's time we begin to understand
that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed has power to cast into hell. Be not afraid.
The Lord, that's who we should fear. Because these people on the street who come up against you and look at you and at work, they're telling you, this and that, and they try to, taunt you and just go at you the wrong way. Those are the people we should fear. We shouldn't even care about those people. Because who we need to fear is the Lord. You know why? The Lord will kill you and he'll kill your spirit. You have the opportunity to come back and live in the kingdom, the Lord can take that. And you know what I'm saying? What better than to have a kingdom, to live as a king, to be able to live, a life with everything. All for what? All because you decided to call your people to this truth. All because you decided to risk yourself and risk your brother to have it out there. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important that we all go out there. When we're called upon to go to camp, you know what? We need to step up. We need to be there. Because every time you go out there, it's a learning experience. It's you learning that you're going to protect your brothers. Man, you got to be out there on Shamar. You know what I'm saying? You got to be out there on Shamar. Shamar is important because it's like being on point. When it goes down, you're going to be there for your brothers. That's when you realize who's there for you. You know when you realize who's there for you? When it goes down. Man, you got to be out there. You go out there and you don't care. You're like, well, my brother ain't going down. I'm going down with him. You know what I'm saying? And those people that went out there and stepped up to the plate and took that risk and went to jail, those are the brothers that I want by my side. Those brothers right there who were in jail with me on that day, those are the brothers that I want with me. Those are the brothers that I want by my side when I'm out there in the war. You know what I'm saying? Those are the brothers that I'm trusting. That's the brother I want to see. And you know how it does? It builds up. You don't build a relationship in one day. It takes time to build up a relationship. It takes time for you to understand who's who. You don't just meet somebody and you're like, you're my brother. No way, man. Let me tell you something. The way you know your brother is because every day he's out there with you. And then you begin to understand, yeah, that's my brother right there. I may have conflicts with him sometimes, but overall, that's my brother, man. You don't just be there. He's proven it over and over again. That's what a brother is right there. That's when you understand who's going to stand behind them when it's really important. You had a precept? I may have conflicts. Yeah, that's how you understand who that brother is. You know what I'm saying? Because when a brother's like that, you know what? He understands that you need him. And you understand that brother is with you too. And that's where it comes to. That's where it comes together. You know what I mean? So when you go out to camp and you're out there with your brothers and trouble comes up, man, ain't nobody backing up. We ain't no cowards out there. We for real. And out there is real. You know why? Because in the world you were going up against your own brothers. So when you never went against white people. You never went against your enemy. You never went against those that robbed, raped, and murdered your people. You never went up against them.
You went up against your own people, your own barrio, your own raza. But you never went up against your real enemy that has destroyed, robbed, raped, and murdered your people for 500 years. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Got Proverbs 29 and 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe.
Right? We got to put our trust in the Lord. When we're out there, you know what? More than trusting in our brothers, we trust in the Lord. We know that if these brothers is straight, the Lord is with them. If I'm straight with the Lord is with me. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do my thing and I'm not going to worry about it. I ain't worried about no heathen coming up against the camp because I know the Lord is with us. I know that all my brothers were prepared to go out there on that day and speak hard and speak true. That we offend everybody. Let me tell you something. When I go out there and I speak, I don't know if any of you watch my videos, but I speak to wake the white man up. I go out there and I blaze. Because why? Because I want them to hear exactly how I feel. I've got 500 years of feelings being unleashed at my camp speakings. And I do not hold back on any of them. I tell them exactly what it is and how I feel. I speak for my ancestors and the rob, raping, and murder of destruction that they caused on my people. And that's why I'm out there, to spit in their face all that they've done to me and my people. What, you have one?
Sir.
Read.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and 31. The horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord.
Right. We can prepare our horses for battle, but the safety is in the Lord. The Lord keeps us safe. That's why I'm worried about saying anything out there, because I know the Lord is with me. How do I know the Lord is with me? Because the Lord is with my family, because the Lord is with my brothers, because the Lord keeps us safe. You know, he makes sure that we're ready to go to battle on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? That we're ready to go speak, and we do not hold back. You know what I mean? Because why? Because it's important. Because if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Who these guys, who these fake Israelites that talk about, no, you don't need to go to no camp. No, these camps are all fake. No, all this camp. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going out there and doing it. You know why they ain't doing it? Because they cowards. Because it takes real men of the Lord to go out there and speak against the enemy and tell them in their face what they've done to us. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. It's more heathens that come and understand what we're saying, and they understand us completely, than our own people. Our own people come against us, and yet the heathens are willing to bow down and kiss our feet because of what they've done to us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that, oh, you know, you got to get a boot kiss. Doesn't matter if you get a boot kiss or not, as long as you go out there and you do what you got to do. We're here to wake our people up. We're here to bring the truth, that our people may serve the Lord the way we serve the Lord here in this truth. Because you know what? That's what it is. And no matter what anybody may say, no matter what what the feelings may come out on people, when we say these things, it don't matter. What we understand is that we out there and we in the battlefield. And that battlefield is one that's never been seen before. Your Christian church didn't do it. Your Catholic church didn't do it. On the contrary, they showed you how to join with your enemy. Let me tell you something. We ain't out there to join with our enemies. We're out there to expose the dirt that our enemy has done to our people. You got one?
Sir.
Go ahead, read.
Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression.
Right. We gotta go out there and we gotta lift our voice like a trumpet. We gotta speak loud. You know what I'm saying? You know, one of the things that you keep hearing these fake camps talking about, whoa, man, you guys are screaming, you guys are too loud, you guys are obnoxious out there. Well, the Lord says that we need to go out and we need to speak loud. We need to speak clear. No more of that nonsense, that whispering between our lips, between our teeth of how we feel of the situations that are happening to us. You know what I'm saying? That's not for us no more. Enough of this soft touch. You know what I'm saying? We've been too much respectful to what's been happening to us. We've shown too much respect to what's been happening to us. All our people, the Black, the Hispanic, and Native American Indian politics, have gone out there and done nothing but try to join in peace and harmony with the people that have done nothing but ignore the pleas of these people. And they have brought nothing but brought war and death and destruction to our people. They make rules and regulations that are contrary to what's beneficial to us. When people go and try to, rent a house, you try to rent a house, man, they got so many different, different types of rules and regulations on there that almost look like they're pinning it against you, for you won't be able to get in. It looks like they're asking you to make sure that, they ask you, do you make 3 times the amount of rent that you're going to pay? And you're like, well, brother, the rental is $1,900. How am I making 3 times $1,900?
That's almost $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's impossible. Who are they trying to get in those neighborhoods? Obviously not blacks, Hispanics, or Native American Indians, because we ain't making that kind of money. But their people are making that kind of money. And that's why when they rent these nice places, they ain't renting them to you. They ain't trying to give you that place. They're trying to push you at the lower parts of the neighborhoods where you can't even get rental in there anymore because they're gentrifying our areas. And even those places are all becoming impossible to get into. And when you try to buy a house, they're trying to say, well, if you got a score of 640 and over, man, come on, man. Who's got, the credit scores are not for Israel, man. Some of us may be lucky to have it, but the majority of us, man, come on, man. We were not raised in that in the white man's theology or perspective or point of view. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to push us out of the areas by raising rents, raising property value, raising utilities in those areas, and pushing our people out to the deserts, out to the mountains, out to areas where, you know what, there's nothing out there. And you know what's the worst thing? We're separating from a lifestyle and our own families because they're forcing us to do that. You know what they're doing? They're migrating us forcefully out of our areas and into areas that are not ours. That's what they're really doing. It's migration by force, by pushing us out. You may not see it like that because none of us ever considered, but that's what it really is. It's a migration. That means you're being forced to move into an area that you don't know about. You know, they say that Mexicans are migrating to America. No, man, Mexicans are not migrating to America. Let me tell you something. We have families in Mexico. We come to work in America and send our money back to Mexico and keep our properties and keep our families well out there. We make money and we send it back, and we don't forget about our families out there. It's always been the norm for Mexicans. Mexicans come to America, and let me tell you something. It's like 5 of us renting one room, and we save money. The room is $1,900. Between all of us, we pay $300 a piece, and all the rest of the money is sent back to Mexico. Or we keep it here and keep our families right. You know why? Because we learn how to manipulate and live in the conditions that America has chose for us. But that's through, you know what, a process of 400 years of learning how to, establish ourselves and live in these conditions that they give us. Because we have no other choice. We have to work around the conditions that are being pushed on us. You got something on me?
Sir.
Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low.
You see that? They get up high and we get down low. You know what I'm saying? The Native American Indian, the white man lived high, and the Native American Indian ended up living the lowest. Our Native American Indian brothers have lived on reservations for 500 years, and the condition on those reservations are worse all the time. And let me tell you something, because I hear this from a lot of brothers, man, and unfortunately from a lot of older people. Well, the Native American Indian has casinos on their reservations now. They're not living like that no more. Man, lack of knowledge. What does the Bible say? Hosea 6 and 4? 4 and 6. My people perish from the lack of knowledge. Man, it's shameful that you even say that about those people, because those casinos are not run by the Native American Indian. Not too long ago, I went to the casino and I took a walk through the whole casino, and I did not see not a single Native American Indian brother working in that casino. What I saw was Asians and whites working on the tables, everywhere. I think I seen one brother who might have been Native American Indian, and he was the one that was cleaning the bathrooms. That's what that brother was doing, and I'm not lying. He was cleaning the bathroom, and I heard him speaking about something about the rights of him and his money that he was making. But it's a truth. Ain't none of them working in the casinos, man. Every other nation's working in there but my Native American Indian brothers. You should know that a Native American Indian cannot build on his property. On those reservations, an American Native Indian cannot just go and build a house. He cannot just go and put a liquor store. He cannot just go and build anything. He's got to get a permit Washington, from the state, to be able to build on that property. And I've heard that it takes a person in the city maybe a couple of weeks to build on your property. It takes them months, almost years, to be able to build a single thing on their property. So they do not have it well. These people are being destroyed even as we speak. You know what I'm saying? So no, the Native American Indian does not live well. They still live in those conditions. They will always live in those conditions. Did you have a precept, brother?
No, sir.
Okay. They always live in those conditions. You know what I'm saying? And us blacks and Hispanics, man, come on. Like I said before, man, I see all my black and Hispanic brothers living in tents all across America. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst.
And let me tell you something. You know that Native American Indian brothers, they're in hunger and in thirst. And they're serving their enemies, just as we are, man. We serve our enemies too. We're lucky to get a job. We're lucky to have a place to live. We're lucky to get credit. You know what I'm saying? We go in there hoping, man, I hope I get this credit. Man, I hope I get this house. Man, I hope I get this job. Man, that's when you remember the Lord. That's the only time that blacks and Hispanics remember God. When they're about to go ask for a job, or when they're about to go and try to get a house. Man, when you know you're about to get evicted, man, you praying to the Lord every single day. Man, I hope you help me find this house. Man, I swear I'll change. I'll go back to the truth. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know, but you know what? The Lord never leaves you, man. You left the Lord. The Lord never left you. What does the Bible say? Man, I chose you. You didn't choose me. The Lord chose you, man. You will always be chosen. He's just waiting for you to get it together and come back. But you know what? What does that say? There's a time of... what is that
time? Time of war, time of peace?
No, like a given time when you can change and come back.
A grace period?
A grace period, exactly. You got something on the grace period? There's a grace period. Make sure that when you leave this truth, that you don't leave that grace period. You know what I'm saying? You make sure that you watch your time and you come back right. Because you still got time. You know what I'm saying? We all got time. We can all come back. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of brothers have dropped out and then been like, man, you know what? Let's get back, and you know what? I'm going to get back. I'm going to get it together this time. You know, we got a grace period, and right now we at the right time for that grace period. Right now, man, the war is hot. You know what I'm saying? The appointed time is here, and this is the time we got to come back. You know, those Native American Indian brothers, man, on the reservations, you know, they had their time. But you know what? A lot of them chose to become drunkards and you know, leave the side of the Lord, and you know what? And give up hope. You know what I'm saying? But now is the appointed time for all of us to come together. You know what happened to the Native American Indian is they lost all their property to these devils, you know, during the Dow Rolls time, right? During that treaty that, you know, in California, they were like, you know what? You can come to California and you can get property for real cheap. You know, ready to build on it, ready to go. All you got to do is be an Indian and you can get this land. And let me tell you something. Those $5 Indians came pouring to California, where they hung Mexicans in order to take that land. And when they hung these Mexicans, in return what they did was give these white folks the land property that was owned by the Mexican people. You know that everything in California, any white man that lives in California, you're living on stolen property. You're living on that property that you claimed you were Native American Indian. Your ancestors claimed that, and they were not. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I got a precept on what you're saying. How
go ahead.
In. Deuteronomy 28:52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates.
You see, he besieged us in all our gates, in everything we did, in all our properties. He killed us. He destroyed us. He took everything from us. Continue reading.
Until thy high and fenced walls come down.
And all our properties were taken. The Native American Indian from California, the Hahamunga Indian, all the Indian up and down the coast, we were all taken. Now all this is owned by the white man, taken from our forefathers
who were the original owners of this land, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, all these places, Colorado, and now they're owned by the white man. And now he's trying to throw us out of our own land. This is our territory, taken from us, our land taken and given to our enemy. Continue reading.
Wherein thou trusted. And
that's the problem, is that we trust these people. That we trust that this landlord is going to give us fair housing. That we trust that this heathen is going to hire us. That we trust that they're going to take care of us. That we go to that doctor and thinking that that doctor is looking out after you. That those nurses are looking out after you. That they're going to be like, oh yeah, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take care of you. But you know what? They don't do that, man. What they're doing is looking at us like we just second-class citizens. They don't give a damn about us. Continue reading.
Throughout all thy land, and he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord thy God had given thee.
And you know the Lord gave all this land to us. All of Azareth, all of what the Americas are, were given to the 10 tribes of Israel. That's why we ended up here, because we decided to come back and serve the Lord correctly. And you know what? For our transgression, that's why we're in the condition that we're in today. Go ahead.
It's like that was it on that.
Oh, that was it? And that's why we're in the condition that we're in today. You know what I'm saying? Because we've chosen to get away from the Lord and stop following what the Lord has ordered us to do. Once again, man, salvation is the key here. Salvation is the word that we should understand that is meant for us. We will no longer suffer. You will no longer be a goddamn drug addict. You will no longer be worrying about, where you're going to be next, or where you're going to end up living next, or whether that doctor's going to take care of you or not, whether you're going to die or not. You know what? You will no longer worry about that. You know what you're going to start worrying about? The most important thing in your mind is going to be, how am I going to die? Am I going to die a coward? Or am I going to die a soldier for the Lord? That's what we should be worried about. That should be the only thing in our mind. You know what? If I get sick, man, I don't care, man. As long as I go out like this, as long as I go out speaking to my people, as long as I go out exposing the rob, rape, and murder that they cause on my people, that's all that matters to me. That's all that's important. I don't care about nothing else. Am I sick? I don't care if I'm sick. Am I going to die? I don't care if I die. Do I have enemies? I don't give a damn if I got enemies. All I care about is one thing. Are my people waking up with the words that are coming out of my mouth? Am I making sense to wake up my people to come into this truth? Are my people going to serve the Lord? Am I going to raise warriors? Is the dead going to come back to life? That's what's important. That's what we should be focused on. That should be on our mind. That's what we should be doing. Nothing else, man, because nothing else matters. Most of us are probably too old already to make any difference in any other way. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to become a great musician, because if you didn't do it at the age of 17 or 18, you ain't going to do it now. You're not going to become some great rapper with a great rap contract, because if you didn't do it when you were 17 or 18, you ain't going to do it now. You didn't invent nothing new, because let me tell you something. Everything that was, is, and is going to be. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't nothing out there. There ain't no goal that you're going to find that's going to take you to glory. You know what I'm saying? If you thought you were going to get into MMA and you're already, 40, then guess what? You're way past your time. If you were a boxer and you're going to thinking, oh man, I can still box. Let me tell you something. If you're above 20, 21, 23, 24, man, it's too late. I'll tell you where the war is at. The war is right here in the Isupk with the brothers. And that war is a real war where you're going to wake up your people. Think about how many people you're going to wake up. You could be the man that wakes up thousands of people. When you die, there could be 1,000 people that say, man, I knew that brother. That brother right there, man. I remember when he used to speak. Man, actually, I got in because of that brother. I'm here today because, man, that brother woke me up. That's honor right there.
You never die, man. Today, I'll tell you who has honor for my people. Today, you know, we're here. We can become Pancho Villas. We can become Emiliano Zapatas. We can become Hermanos Magon. We could become Cesar Chavez's, but way above all these people. Because in Israel, they'll remember your name forever. You know what I'm saying? You had one? Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 7:1. A good name is better than precious ointment.
A good name is better than precious ointment. Any more?
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
And the day of death better than the day of your birth. More?
That's it right there.
Let me tell you something, man. Better than ointment. Everything, man, could be better than anything that you're looking for today, man. You know what I'm saying? There is nothing better than death in this truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, to go out as a soldier, as a warrior, to be remembered as that type of person, man, that's honor. You know what I'm saying? Your name lives forever. You know what I'm saying? That's the way that we wanna. That's the way we wanna be. That precept right there. What's that precept? Read it again. That precept covers the epitome of what we're after. Nothing in this kingdom that the white man has could give us this right here that the Lord is offering us. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing here. Mayweather will never be that man. Mayweather will never reach that point. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you who's the greatest boxer that ever lived, with Muhammad Ali. And the reason Cassius Clay was such a great boxer to me is not because he was great in the ring, but because of the words that would come out of his mouth for his people. Because when he spoke about the real things that were happening to his people. Because this brother, Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, loved his people. And man, his words were honorable at that time. If Cassius Clay would have known about the truth, I'm pretty sure he would have been speaking for his people there too. But you know what? He never feared going on live camera. And you know what? Speaking to his people. In front of his enemy, he would speak to his people the way he wanted to, the way it was supposed to be. Read that.
Ecclesiastes 7:1.
7:1, Ecclesiastes.
A good name is better than precious ointment.
A good name is better than precious ointment. Let me tell you something. All the precious things that Muhammad Ali had, there was nothing better than the name Ali and Cassius Clay, because of the way he spoke against his enemy and the way he spoke about his people, the black people that were being oppressed in his time. Continue reading.
And the day of death than the day of one's birth.
Let me tell you something. The day of death better than the day of his birth. Muhammad Ali died the day he no longer had recollection of who he was. The day that he died without a memory, even though he was walking around still taking pictures with these devils, you know, he could not defend himself no more. He could not say the things that he would have said when he was younger. But you know what? They were standing with a dead corpse right there. All these devils that were taking pictures with him and saying what an honorable person he was, what a great boxer he was. You know what? None of them ever said about the things he spoke about. They didn't dare say, wow, he spoke of the revolution, of his people, of the, you know, the tragedies. They never said that about him. They just kept saying he was a great boxer, the greatest boxer ever. Sting like a bee. I seen a few of them. You know, he no longer stings like a bee and this and that. You know what? He didn't have to. He died a great man. You know what I'm saying? He died a man who honored and lived for his people. One of the few that you can speak about that was in the that was a face in the mainstream, in the media, that you could actually say this man spoke about his people. He spoke about not going to Vietnam. He said, how am I going to go kill those people? Those aren't my enemies. My enemies are here in America. My enemies are killing my people in the street. Those are the words of a true warrior. Those are the words that the Lord is talking about. Those are the words that should come out of our mouth. Not people like Mayweather, not these fake people in the media, but real people. And you know where you learn that? Right here in the Isupk. This is the place where you learn that.
where you learn how to be a warrior, where you learn how to stand up for your people, where you learn to bring your people out of that misery and that destruction that exists out there. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got anything else on that?
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
Therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua. Brother, man, endure. Yeah, you're going to get pulled out of this truth, brother. But you know what? Endure, man. Stay in here. Come back in here. Fight the good fight, man. They don't call it a good fight for nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is a fight. This is something that happens. This is, man, you're going to come in here and you're going to risk it. You know what I'm saying? You're going to risk humiliation from your family. You're going to risk your family turning their backs on you. You're going to risk people saying, man, that fool's crazy, man. All he talks about is the same thing all the time. You know what? You're going to risk it all. But you know what you're going to gain? You're going to gain the kingdom and you're going to gain respect. That's what you're going to gain. You're going to gain something that no one else has ever had. And that is a crown, man. And you know what? That's what we're here for. We're here for the kingdom. That's what we're here for. We're here to gain the kingdom. And you know how we're going to do it? Just like this. Calling our people out of death. That death that you walk on every single day. You know what I'm saying? And you know what that death is? Let me tell you what that death is. That death is when you go out there and you decide to smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? That you forget who you are and weed takes over you. Come on, man. People say, no, it's not addicting. Well, then give it up. You know what? Stop smoking weed. No, you can't. You're going to stop smoking weed for a week and you're going to go right back to it. You know why? Because you cannot operate without it. You cannot get up in the morning and be a normal person. You got to take that bong hit. You got to roll it up 2 or 3 times a day. You got to make sure that you have it on the weekends. Life is just not the same without that weed, without that hit. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that weed. You know what that's called? That's called an addiction. You just don't want to accept that you're addicted to a drug. Anything that you can't be without is a drug. And anything that keeps you from focusing or moving forward or keeps you from really being who you want to be is a distraction and a drug. The crack, the meth, the marijuana, the abuse of alcohol. This is all the same, man. This is all drugs. This is what keeps you away from understanding who you are. That's why you continue being in the same problems that you're on. You know what I'm saying? That's why you keep meeting men that keep treating you like dirt, giving you kids, and then they end up in jail or they end up leaving you and you're wondering, damn, you know, I'm back into the same situation that I've been in. That's why you're struggling to get rent. That's why you're calling to see who's going to let you borrow some rent money. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes you don't have anything to eat. You know what I'm saying? That's why you struggle so much. Why? Because you choose to be addicted to everything else but the truth. The truth, what is that precept? The truth will set you free? The truth will set you free. Once you get into the truth, man, you're going to be free from those problems that you have. But first, you got to learn to let go. First, you got to learn to let go of that addiction that you have in life. You know what we're all addicted to? I'm not, but the majority of everybody out of this truth, they're addicted to Christianity. Right. That's what they're addicted to. They're addicted to the Catholic and Christian church. And the Catholic and Christian church have never done anything for you. You know what the Christian church did for you? He took your kids out of there for smoking weed because you were Mexican. All the rest of the white kids are still going to that school, but your kids got thrown out. You know why? Because they don't want you there. That's why your brothers and your sisters got thrown out of that school for smoking weed. You know, they could have got them and said, well, you know what? You guys are smoking weed. Let's bring you on in here. You guys need counsel. You know what I'm saying? You guys need to understand that, you know, you can't be smoking weed here. Let's try to help you. Let's try to give you some kind of treatment. But you know what? The prison system and the school system is the same disease, is the same problem. They're not there to rehabilitate. They're there to destroy you. And we have to understand that. And once you begin to understand the knowledge, the hidden knowledge
of what this country is doing to you, then you begin to release yourself from the prison that you're in. And that prison is ignorance. You have something? Oh, go ahead.
This is John 8:32. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
The truth will what?
Make you free.
And you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Is that in red? Are those the words of the Lord that's speaking?
So that's Christ speaking.
That's Christ speaking. He said, and you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Free from what? Free from your addictions, free from your ignorance, free from this prison that you're in, known as Christianity. That you know what? Your conquerors came and gave you that. What's that chapter on that?
Chapter 8, verse 32.
Chapter 8, verse 32 of John, right? John chapter 8, verse 32. And the truth shall set you free. Man, don't you want to be free of your problems? Don't you want to be free of all that nonsense that's happening to you? Don't you want to be free of the fear that you know what? You don't know what's going to happen to you tomorrow? Man, stop thinking about yourself. Don't you want to be free of thinking if your son is going to come home tomorrow? Or if your daughter's going to be all right? Or if your kid's going to get shot? You know what I'm saying? Or if he's going to join some gang? You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't you rather be free from that worry? Let me tell you something. I freed myself of that worry. I came into the Isupk and wholeheartedly joined this truth to wake up my brothers and bring them into this truth. I wholeheartedly came in with all my brothers that are here with me today and decided, you know what? We all gonna leave that old life behind. Never pick up another cigarette. Never pick up another straw. You know what I'm saying? Never do any of that again. Stay away from all that nonsense. And you know what? We have been here and we're going to stay right here. Me and my house serve the Lord. That's the way it should be. And why do we speak like this? What's that precept? The Lord is a man of war? Because the Lord is a man of war. And that's why we come out here to give help to those that have robbed, raped, and murdered us and oppressed us. Go ahead.
This is Exodus 15, verse 3.
Exodus 15, verse 3.
The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is a man of war. Go ahead.
The Lord is his name.
Right, and the Lord is his name. Yahweh is his name. And Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord ain't no soft Christian. The Lord ain't no Christian church. The Lord ain't no Catholic church. The Lord isn't with those priests that are raping children. The Lord isn't with those Christian churches that are dancing and tambourine in hand and whoop-de-woo and you know, dressing all tight up in your dress and going to church and picking up on another man's wife and you know and messing around with the pastor. Man, that's not the Lord's people. Those are Christian people. Love everybody in every way. They love children in the wrong way. They love other people's wives in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? They don't love you, man. Here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we love our brothers and we love our sisters, man. And we bring them to this truth and to this knowledge. And it may sound harsh, it may sound raw, but you know what? Truth is hard, and truth is raw. And that's the way truth is, harsh. Because you know what? It's an inconvenient truth. It's not for everybody. Some people get offended. And why do they get offended? Because the truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way it is. So you know what? That's the way we bring it out. Because we have to. Because if not, if we don't do it, who will? You know what I'm saying? You got any more on that?
That's some on salvation, sir.
Go ahead on the salvation.
Acts 4:10. Be it known unto you all and to all the people of Israel by the name of Yahushua of Nazareth, whom you crucified, whom God raised from the dead, even by him does this man stand here before you whole. This is the stone which was set at naught of your builders, which become the head of the corner. Neither is there salvation in any other,
Neither is there salvation in any other. That stone that was set there was Christ, like no other stone, like nobody else. And you know what? He's the only one that's bringing salvation. Go ahead.
For there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved.
You hear that? No other place can you be saved. Only right here. Only with Christ. Only those who teach the way of the Lord, the way of Christ. That's how you're going to get saved. Let me tell you something. The Christian church ain't teaching you about Christ. They're teaching you about prosperity. Right. The Catholic Church ain't teaching you about Christ. They're teaching you about love. That kind of love that you don't want to know about. That's the kind of love that the preacher gives to the kid. You know what I'm saying? And then the other preachers are left off the hook because someone said, well, they're okay. They might have raped a couple of kids, but they're free to go. That's not the kind of salvation that the Lord is talking about.
Right.
That's the kind of salvation that only a heathen nation would think about. You know what I'm saying? We're here to bring our people to truth. And that truth is going to bring justice for us, the black, the Hispanic, and the Native American Indian. Man, we got to stand up for what it is. We got to once again speak out and bring our people to this knowledge, because you know what? This is the appointed time. The time is coming around when, you know what, things are going to start to get a little bit crazy all over the world. And they're already starting to brew. Let me tell you something. World War II didn't start in one day. It took time for this war to start. This thing brewed for years. It was in the works. There was this going on. There was that going on. People were hearing that the Germans were going to do this. People were hearing this and that, and no one ever believed it. Hitler was going to build a wall, and you know what? People were just not believing that. People were just like, nah, that ain't going to happen. Ain't no wall, ain't no this. Before they knew it, they built a wall. Not to keep people out, but to keep those people in. That's what the wall was for. The wall was to keep the German people inside, away from everybody else. And anybody that they didn't like within the walls were being put in the gas chambers. And you know who they were. So I don't even have to mention it. But those people were being put in the gas chamber. Let me tell you something. America is building a wall. And they're going to start putting people that they don't like to death. And they're already doing that. It's just going to be full blown. These people that are going to be put to death, you know, what's his name? I keep forgetting this heathen's name. Alex Jones. Alex Jones, for years, remember when you used to get high in the basement, in your mom's basement? You get all high, or in your room you get all high and plug into Alex Jones, and you'd be watching Alex Jones all the time. All the conspiracy theories of Alex Jones. Right? The alien conspiracy, all the aliens. You know, the NASA never went to the moon. Alex Jones was on top of everything. I mean, that guy knew everything. He started saying, you know what, they're making these caskets. Didn't he say about the caskets? Mm-hmm. They got these caskets lined up in the South. You ever see that? Yeah, you saw that, right? He showed pictures of millions of caskets. Yeah, right. Plastic caskets. Black ones. That were being shipped across the nation. And then Alex Jones would go down to these old Walmarts or Kmarts. They used to be Kmarts, huh?
Right.
Walmarts. And he was filming, and then he would point out how he was seeing the fences with barbed wire. Mm-hmm. But what he pointed out, I don't know if you remember this, he would point out that the fences were, the barbed wire and the fences were pointing inward, not outward. So he was making it clear that it wasn't to keep people out, but to keep people in. Yeah, it was the FEMA camps. That's exactly what it was. That's what he was calling them, FEMA camps. The whole controversy of FEMA camps being built across America because they were going to do a sweep and start taking Americans and putting them into these FEMA camps. And then he was showing how a lot of these FEMA camps or these Kmarts were right next to railroad tracks. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
He would say, look how these FEMA camps are positioned right next to the railroad tracks. And he was pushing the issue of the FEMA camps. What else did he push the issue? Oh, of Satanism in America. Right. Satanists. Oh, the Satanists are taking over America. He was showing
Bohemian Grove, right? And the owl. Oh, the Bohemian Grove and the owl, they're killing children there, right?
Right.
Wasn't he saying they're killing children? They sacrifice children here.
He went in there undercover.
He went under there undercover. Khan, you're right, Oscar Water. He went under there undercover. You never seen that?
I think I saw.
You're lucky. Maybe you didn't smoke weed as much as we did.
No, I mean, I used to smoke heavy, but...
All right.
I know I saw that somebody went in there, you know what I'm saying, undercover. I just don't know if it was that guy.
It was him.
Okay,
And so he pushed this whole issue of you know, the FEMA camps, Satanism, child sacrifices, you know, all. He was even pushing that issue of homosexuality. You know, he was pushing that issue of homosexuality in America. You know, he was pushing all these things. You know, America, America. He knew so much of everything, right? That they were saying that he was like a spy or, you know, an agent. But it's funny how what he didn't tell you is that who it was going to happen to were the blacks, the Hispanics, and the Native American Indians. He left that out. He didn't say they're going to start making these camps, and in these camps, they're going to start putting Mexican, Latin American children. He didn't say that. Today, in our time, those camps that he was talking about are filled with our Latin American children who are now being molested and sold in those camps. Because what they're doing is they're getting these kids and they're sending them off, separating from their families, and they're putting them with other families and they're disappearing. They don't know where these kids are at. He didn't tell you that the same people working at those camps were going to be raping our children. He didn't tell you all that. He didn't say that they were going to be doing all that. He didn't say that they were going to be, he said the militarized of the police department. He did mention that. That police department was going to be militarized. That they were going to start using military gear and riot gear. But he did not tell you that they were going to use it against black people. He forgot to mention that the white people were going to be free to go and rally and, you know, neo-Nazi rallies without anybody doing anything to them. But he never said that when black people would get together and go and protest, that they would be shot in the street and killed like they are today. He didn't mention that the police were going to be with new uniforms and pull you over and shoot you right where you were at dead. He didn't mention that all that police funding for the secret. You seen that? He even mentioned that car or that machine that shot like what is it, like a sound?
Sonic?
Sonic sound? Microwave?
Radioactive?
Or some kind of sound wave?
I forgot what he said.
Right, but you know what I'm talking about, right? He said that. On one of his shows, I remember that he was saying, you know, they got this new weapon where they're going to be shooting a sound. Ultrasound or something. And it's going to be, you know, penetrating into people's skin and feel like you're burning.
Yeah.
You know, they used that against the Native American Indian.
Right.
In the what is that? The Black Hills, when they were trying to take North Dakota. They used that weapon on the Native American Indians out there. The sonic wave. They used it on the Native American Indians. He said it was going to happen, but he just didn't tell you who it was going to happen to. He said that the FEMA camps were going to happen to incarcerate thousands and thousands and thousands of people. He just forgot to tell you that it was Latin American people it was going to happen to. He told you that there was going to be riot gear for the police department. He just forgot to tell you that it was to destroy black people. You know what I'm saying? He said there would be, you know, gentrification of areas and people pushed into certain areas, because he did mention that. I remember one, right? He said that they were going to start putting people in little areas. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I seen one where he said, you know what, they're going to start pushing people into little areas to better be able to control population. So they're going to bring populations into certain little areas. And I remember that. And you know what? He didn't mention that was going to be blacks and Hispanics that were going to be pushed into certain areas. So Alex Jones said all this stuff that was going to happen. He just forgot to mention to you that it was going to be happening to black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
You know what I'm saying? You know, he said that they were going to spray that, what is that?
Chemtrails?
Chemtrails. Yeah, the chemtrail theory. Yeah, they're going to spray chemtrails all over the skies. You know, they're going to block the sun from coming in. Well, you know why they block the sun, right? Because the Edomites can't be in the sun because they burn, their skin burns of cancer.
Yeah.
Blacks and Hispanics, we can be in the sun all goddamn day long.
Right.
We ain't going to burn. We're okay with that. The Native American Indian, he's in the sun all day long. We ain't going to burn. But in order for white man to come out of the caves and be able to live on the land freely, they got to block the sun. And you know who's that going to affect? Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. We're the ones that are being affected by the blocking of the sun. We're the ones that are paying the price for they can live out freely. You know what I'm saying? That's who that's all for. And this man, what's his name? Alex Jones. I forget his name. This man, Alex Jones, he knew all this was going to happen. And he knew it was going to happen to us. He just never mentioned it to you. He had everybody fooled and high on weed. Everybody who watched Alex Jones was high on weed. Everybody smoked weed and got all bent out of shape and watched Alex Jones. Everybody I knew was smoking weed and watching Alex Jones. Alex Jones was the truth weed man. That's what Alex Jones was, the weed man truth. And so we all fell for Alex Jones and we forgot to understand our true heritage. And we're following the footsteps and the guidance of people that hate us. And we're believing what he's saying, but we can't believe what we're saying. You cannot believe when your own brothers and sisters come out and begin to tell you, brother, man, let me tell you something. They're going to start killing blacks. You need to come into this truth. You cannot believe me when I tell you, man, sis, man, bro, you know, come into this truth because they're going to start gathering Hispanics and putting them into these detention centers.
Right.
And you know what? You can't believe me, but you can believe Alex Jones when he told you all this stuff. You can't believe Commanding General Yohana when he tells you it's time for Israel to gather. You know, all camps come together. You know, you can't believe him. But you can believe Alex Jones. You can believe people like Alex Jones. These heathens that come and tell you these things and you get scared and you believe exactly what they're telling you. But you can't believe your own brothers and sisters. You refuse to hear the words that your brothers and sisters tell you for your own good. For we can be saved. For you can be saved. We're trying to save you, man. Once again, save you from what? From destruction. From death, from all these things that are around us. We're trying to save you from Alex Jones, damn it.
Right.
That's what we're trying to save you from. We're trying to save you from Alex Jones and all those nutbags that are out there. You know what I mean? That's who we're trying to save you from. But you refuse to listen to us. These words won't be around forever. The Lord has appointed and chosen these people like me and Oscar Ward and my brothers here, to speak out. And to get you to understand that it's time to make a change and time to come into this truth. You know what I'm saying? Listen, what's happening in Venezuela is no joke. What's happening in Latin America is no joke. It's about to crack off and we see this going heavy. They're bringing armament from across the other world and bringing it to Latin America to start a war against America. And America is starting a war against Latin America. Already America sent armed troops to Colombia and sent tanks and everything out there and prepared the Colombian army for war against Venezuela. And you know what? Russia has already said we're going to supply Venezuela and hold them up for whatever happens. It's time that we understand that we're all living in these days that seem to be darkened by what's happening all around us. It's a crisis that's happening. And you know what? America is making this crisis happen. They're saying, you know what? Venezuela has no food. Venezuelans are hungry. There's no food inside of the stores. You know what? This thing is out of control. They got no health aid. And you know what? They send the BBC down there to make it look like a mockery against them. But you know what? This is propaganda that's being thrown out against our people. And you know what? This war is at hand. And the Lord said, give me that, the woes in the book of Revelation, right?
Woe.
The woes, yeah. So we need to understand, read this one for me, the Amos. So we need to understand that we're here for a purpose. Me, Oscar War, Kusharwan, and all the brothers who are coming into this truth, we're all here for a purpose, for a reason. Read that for me.
The book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets.
We're the prophets, and the Lord has revealed his secrets to us. And surely the Lord won't do nothing yet. First, he's going to have us come and speak on this. Right now is the opportunity. Listen up. The Lord has given the opportunity for you to listen. He's not going to do nothing yet. First, he's going to give everyone the opportunity to hear us out. We don't speak. The Lord is speaking. Everything I'm saying, I'm not saying because of me. I'm saying because the Lord has touched my spirit and has told me to come and speak these things to my brothers and sisters. Wake up, come back into this truth. Get out of that world and come back to where you belong. Serve the Lord with all your might, with all your heart, and honestly, right here, become a child again. The Lord says, you know what, I'm not going to do nothing yet. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let these servants talk to you. I'm going to let my priests talk to you. And then before you know it, I'm going to speak to you. And when I speak to you, I'm going to speak to you differently. You got something?
I would say the woes.
The woes. Go ahead, brother.
This is Revelation 9 and 12.
And let me tell you, we're only speaking to you. We're only bringing out this truth. But this is the way the Lord's going to speak to you. Read.
One woe is past.
Let me tell you, one woe is past. The word woe means total destruction. World War I was total destruction everywhere. Go ahead.
And behold, there come two woes more hereafter.
So there's two more woes after that first woe. After the first total destruction, there's going to be two more woes coming. You got more? Read. There's one that says the second woe. So the Lord has told you, man, one woe has come. That first woe had total destruction and death on this planet. That was World War I. When World War I came to be, man, blacks went out there to fight this war. You know what I'm saying? Blacks were out there fighting this war for these people, for these heathens. And the Lord called us to do that. Read.
Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe is past.
Let me tell you, the second woe has passed. The Lord knows this is an appointed time in history that we're all living in. How do you know? Because he says the first woe has passed. It's already done with. What does it say, the second woe?
And behold. Continue.
No, the second woe.
Oh, Salaki. From the other piece?
From the top.
The second woe is past.
And so the second woe is past. In the Bible, the book of Revelation, it says a first woe has passed, a second woe has passed. Total destruction on the world has come and gone. One woe and two woes. Listen closely. Listen closely to how the Bible, the Lord, is depicting these two times in this appointed time of ours that you live in and that I live in. The first woe has passed. The second woe has passed. Read the last one.
And behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
And the what?
The third woe cometh quickly.
He says the third woe cometh quickly. That means that everything in the Bible is still going on, because that third woe is coming quickly. It's on its way. It's in our time. Listen to how the Bible says one has gone, two has gone, but the third one is coming quickly. We can sit around and know that in our time, our appointed time, this third woe is coming. It's on its way. Any more? I think that's it.
That's it, sir.
Yeah, and the third woe is coming quickly. That means that we all live in a time waiting for a third woe, waiting for World War III, total destruction coming to America, coming to this country. You got any more on nuclear war?
Constantly.
Let me have it. So these wars are coming to America. This third woe in the Bible, it says one has come, two has come, but the third one is at an appointed time when it hasn't happened yet. And it's going to happen, and those that are here are going to wait for it, are going to see it. Go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 54. And he said also to the people, when you see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway you say, there cometh a shower, and so it is. Verse 55. And when you see the south wind blow, you say, there will be heat, and it cometh to pass. Verse 56. You hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that you do not discern this time?
Right. So you may say everything, you may think you know everything, but yet the Lord has not given it to you to understand this appointed time. Only the priest that the Lord said previously, when he said that he gives us for us to speak before he's going to speak, we're going to speak. He's given us that appointment for us to speak. And this is what he's saying. He's saying, how come they can't tell, but yet we can? We can tell you what's about to happen. Continue reading.
Verse 57. Yea, and why even of yourselves judge you? Verse 57. Yea, and why even of yourselves judge ye not what is right? When thou goest with thine adversary to the magistrate, as thou art in the way, give diligence that thou mayest be delivered from him, lest he hale thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and the officer cast thee into prison.
So we have to understand that we have to be wise on what we talk about. We got to be wise because the Lord has appointed us all to speak on these days that are coming, these days of a woe that's on its way. This woe, man, is World War III that's being brewed up in our time. Man, let me tell you something. How do you know this is true? Because one of the last prophecies in the Bible is, what is it? When Israel wakes up? When Israel wakes up, then the Lord will come back and save us. If you got that, when Israel becomes a nation.
Some Baruch, I think, I believe. It's a lot I get it right now.
You got it? Yeah, give it to me. So we got to understand that when Israel becomes a nation, once again, then the Lord will come again and then get us out of this. But let me see. Let me bring it out let me get it.
Baruch 2:30.
Baruch 2:30.
That's like, yeah, I believe that's the one you're talking about.
What is it saying?
For I knew that they would not hear me.
Right.
Because it is a stiff-necked people.
Right.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
Right.
Verse 31. And shall know that I am the Lord, their power.
So you know what? In the land of our captivity, in America, we will remember ourselves. Man, we've been all over the place. And now is the appointed time when we're all remembering. Oh yeah, you know what? Now I remember I am Israel. Now I honor myself as Judite, as an Issacharite, as a Simeon, as Asher, as whatever I may be. Man, I'm gonna cling on to that. I recognize who I am now. No matter where you're at, man. If you recognize that you're an Israelite, this is a prophecy in the Bible. This is in the book of Baruch. This is a prophecy that we will remember who we are at that appointed time. Continue reading.
For I will give them a heart and ears to hear.
And then he gives us a heart and an ear to hear. You know why? Because when I speak, it reaches the heart. Through your ears, you're understanding everything I'm saying. And you're like, he makes sense. That is so true, man. In the book of Baruch, there's a prophecy. And it says that in the land of our captivity, we're going to remember who we are. And through our ears and our heart, man, we're going to grasp this and we're going to understand that this is a prophecy that the Lord has given us. Continue reading.
Verse 32. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity.
And we praise the Lord in our land of our captivity. We're praising the Lord here in America. That's where we've all gathered. No matter who you are, man. No matter who you are, if you believe you're an Israelite, man, you're once again honoring the Lord in our captivity. Go ahead.
And think upon my name.
And we think upon the Lord's name. You know what? At work, brother, I'm always thinking about the Lord, man. I'm always thinking about this because I know that the Lord has called me to wake up and understand who I am. Not only understand who I am, but serve Him and serve my people. I'm not here to gain money. I'm not here to pass that little tray around the seats to collect. I'm here to speak these words and bring my people out of captivity. You got one?
Come on, sir. Matthew 24:6. To do with the war.
Okay.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
And that's what we're hearing about today. Those wars that are in Venezuela, that are in the Middle East, that are all over the place. These aren't regular wars, man. Let me tell you something. What's the difference between these wars and all the wars that have been fought before? You know that at these wars, you ain't sending troops, man. You're sending missiles. The next war that happens is going to be fought with nuclear fire. You know that these wars that are brewing, man, ain't nobody preparing troops. They ain't talking about, oh, man, everybody's going to go fight this war. You got to go across sea and fight. No, man, they're preparing to launch missiles against each other. These wars that you're hearing, these rumors of these wars, these are no regular wars that are going to come up. These are going to be wars fought with all that new armament and all that new firepower that America, Russia, and China has been building up. Remember, they just cut the treaty about the arms treaty. They just cut it. They're like, we're going to build all the missiles we can build. So you better understand that this next war is not, when your grandparents used to hear that, oh, the rumors of wars, oh, you know, they've always been wars. No, brother, they ain't never been wars like the ones we're talking about today. Today's wars are nuclear fire war. Today's wars are missiles, new high-tech drones, and all these things that they have. And you see them. All you got to do is go on the YouTube and see these drones and how they're firing upon people from a distance. They ain't fighting hand-to-hand combat no more. No, man, these wars are different wars. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
So we're going to see all these things, man. We're going to see all these things, but you know what? The end is not yet. The Lord isn't going to take you that quick. He's going to let a lot of these people suffer. That's what salvation is. You don't have to go through all that. All these people are going to go through nuclear fire, nuclear war, through all this nonsense. Man, if you got kids, you should understand that this is an important time. This is an appointed time where, let me tell you, the last thing you want to think about is how your child is going to react to nuclear fallout, or how you're going to react to a war that's coming to America. Or if your child is the age of 13 or 14, how come your child is going to be forced to go to war? You know what? These are not our wars. We can no longer fight for a country that hates you. How is a country going to lock up your people and then expect you to fight for it? You know what I'm saying? Common sense. Go ahead. Continue reading.
It's like, so that was it on that one.
Okay. You got another one? Anybody got another one? No? Okay. So we got to understand that, you know what? We cannot partake in these wars that are coming. World War III is around the corner, man. You know, it's brewing all over the place. Something a lot of people don't want to talk about, but let me tell you something. During World War II in Germany, the people refused to talk about war. I read this book that said the ignorance of Germany. Why? Because the Jewish people didn't want to talk about the war. They didn't want to talk about what was happening in the workplaces. I was reading that people did not conversate about the war and the revolution that was taking place in Germany. People were told to go about their business and go about their daily lives as if nothing was happening. A lot of people were warning people, hey, you know what? And they were seen as people that were distracting everybody else, Salakia, that were distracting everybody else. But in reality, those people that were blowing the trumpets and telling people were the people that were right. But the majority said, man, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to live life. Life is good here in Berlin. Berlin is a great city. Berlin was a Hollywood in those times. So Berlin was the greatest city on earth. If you were rich, you were living in Berlin. So Berlin was just a great place. And nobody ever wanted to think that Hitler was actually going to go and do something to Berlin, or that anybody was going to do anything to Berlin. They wanted to keep their country a secret. You know, keep it all in the low. It's not going to happen. It'll pass. You know what? It never passed. That woe came and went, just like the book of Revelation said. And today, that woe that the Bible talks about, the third woe is coming. That's the woe that no one wants to talk about. Your workplace isn't talking about. Your buddies aren't talking about it. The news isn't talking about it. Everybody's trying to keep it hush hush. Nobody wants to make it a full-blown thing. Why? Because America wants to continue being America. You know, land of the free and the brave, and go to school and go and you know, go to your movies, and you know what, don't worry about nothing, man. Everything is going to be all right. You're going to be safe inside of the walls surrounding America. But if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian, you should know that you are not going to be safe. If Mexicans are being killed in Venezuela, then all Latin American people become a threat. You know, in China, when World War II, when Japan was at war, anybody who looked Asian in America was taken to the concentration camps. That was the truth. Anybody that was German was taken to the concentration camps. So anybody who's Latin American is going to be taken to the concentration camps. You know why? Because if you're Latin American, you look like a goddamn Mexican. So you're going to jail. You're going to be put in those camps. You're going to be killed. You're going to be labeled as a person who was an anti-American. Just the way blacks are labeled anti-Americans. Or what do they call them? Black supremacists or black groups? What do they call them? Black radicals. You a black radical. You know what I mean? You a black radical. Well, you Mexican, you a Mexican revolutionist. You know,
Extremist.
you an extremist. You black extremist. You that's what you're gonna be labeled as. Why? Because this country is not for you. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So, like, sir, if you want some scriptures more on World War III,
let's finish it with those scriptures on World War III.
Come. Matthews 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Right. You see that? We will be hated. We will be those people that you know what, let me tell you something. Because we speak the truth, we become hated. Because we go out there and tell people the truth about who we are and you know what's happening, then we become hated. We become black identity extremists. We become those people that, you know what, they're the ones, you know, those Mexicans, because there's a war in Latin America and you could be an agent. Blacks because there's a war in America, black extremists, and you could be an agent. Native American Indians because there's a rise in Native American Indian social movement, and you could be one of those too. You know what? They don't call white supremacists, they don't call them a threat. They call you a threat, black man. They call you a threat, Mexican man. They call you a threat, Native American Indian man. That's who is a threat. They're not a threat. You're a threat because you're not wanted in this country. Because you have become the people that they see as a threat, as unwanted. That's what we become. And that's why we need to understand that we need to start to educate our families, educate our brothers and sisters, and you know what? Bring them into this truth. Come into the ISUPK. Put on your black. Serve the Lord in this army. Why do you want to serve the Lord in this army? Because we are one. We are one body in Christ. We're here to serve the Lord and do it right. You know what I'm saying? We're here to speak these words that the Lord has given these priests at this appointed time to wake up his people before his return. If you can't understand us, then you're just not going to understand anybody. You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, that's going to be the class today. You know, if y'all got any questions, go ahead and type them up. You know, we're still working on some projects here. We're all getting close to the Passover, so it's kind of giving us a little, you know, put a little wrench in some of our programmings that we got here. But it doesn't matter. We're going to continue doing this class, whether it be early start or late. We're continuing doing it. You know, no matter what, we're going to be here. The Inconvenient Truth every Wednesday. We're going to be here, man, because we have to. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord has appointed us to speak out. All my brothers all across the nation, everybody in the ISUPK. You know, we got these shows because we want to educate our brothers, re-educate our brothers, and bring them back to the Lord, back into the ISUPK, back into the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what's important here. So, you know, tune into us every Wednesday. If y'all got any questions, go ahead. Hey, I'm gonna do a prayer today, so grab that prayer in the Hebrew, just the prayer of because we got to do the prayers. We always got to do the prayers. So you know, we got to understand that we're here for our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? And you know, stay tuned every Wednesday. ISUPK, we're always here, man. To all my brothers out there, man, we're the brotherhood, man. You ain't gonna get no better than this, man. We're gonna keep our brothers tight. Come in here, get your name, do your service, earn your place in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. So let's do not the blessings, but just the prayer.
The Lord's Prayer?
The Lord's Prayer.
Come. Men of Israel, Amaitim.
All right, and we're going to do these prayers. Israel, we're going to do these prayers.
Honey Hakodam, face the east.
Right. We'll do this one and the blessings.
We'll do the Lord's Prayer, ancient Hebrew, then in English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakotka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Baratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Lathanlanawa, Lakam, Cow, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawawat Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawawat Yanawa, Wala'ah, Tabaya Nawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Awashai Nawa, Mayun, Ra, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahatapara, Waiwalumium, Amun.
All right. The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. Amen.
Now we're going to do the blessings, ancient Hebrew, then in English. Barakatah. Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shai. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Matazab Ya'ah. Alawap Yahanan. Ha'alawapyum. Hasaranyum. Hakwatazayunyum. Hakayayoyum. Waha'akwatyum. Yahweh. Bahashim. Yahweh Shai. The water. Amen.
All right, the blessings in Hebrew. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yohanan.
Commanding General Yohanan.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you. So be it.
So be it.
All right. And with that.
Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Almighty Shabbat, Almighty Barak,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yanimata dismissed.